So, as I was stating, so Mel,
See, this is a cold open, huh?
yes. So
Okay.
Mel,
Yeah.
let's say hypothetically you had a friend who was out of town and gave you keys to his apartment and said, hey, I need you to just, like, for one day, go feed my fish.
Okay.
Now, let's say you went to this person's apartment and you opened the door. You would expect no one else to be in the apartment, correct?
That would be my assumption.
So, I go inside. The fish tank is within view of the front door. I go over. I hear feet shuffling. And then out of a side room comes this man's roommate, who I have not personally met, but I did know existed. And I went, oh, yeah, I'm here to feed the fish. And then he went, oh, all right. And then he went back into his room. So I put the flakes in.
Yeah.
I go back outside. I have so many questions.
Yeah, me too.
Could he not be trusted to do this task? Are they not getting along? What's happening?
Are you gonna ask your friend about them?
So here's the thing. I gave the keys back. I didn't have the heart. I was just like, I don't... Something about the vibe of the situation feels like I'd be opening a can of worms I do not have the emotional capacity for. So I just let it lie. But now it's been like a week out, and I do kind of want the closure. Anyways, now that I think, you know, I was thinking actually, I don't think you've ever like introduced the podcast before.
No.
Do you want to do it?
I guess I can. I've done enough practice on QT time, but I also have imposter syndrome about being a host on QT time. Anyway, welcome to Off Q, the regular podcast about 60 years of Ultraman. It's episode 156. I'm Mel and here's Brad.
Hi. Red's playing tabletop games.
Yeah, what a nerd.
So
unlike us, who are at home on Sunday.
Talking about children's TV show, yes. Now, I was thinking, Mel, I think you need to be gone next week. And then the week after, all three of us are together. Actually, the week after, all three of us are gone. And we upload an hour of silence. And then the week after that, we're all back together. And it'll be like...
We get Claude and Gemini to record a podcast together.
Yes. And then
it's perfect for the Gridman season.
Exactly. Let me tell you, one of these episodes we're talking about felt oddly prescient in the wake of Weird AI Bros. But then the week after that,
one of these episodes also feels very prescient in other less complimentary ways.
Yes, that is true.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But then the week after all of that, when all three of us are finally together again, it'll be like the Avengers Doomsday of podcasting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then your friend who's watching all of... Or was it who someone in your life was watching
my hairdresser.
Your hairdresser. You know, your hairdresser can be... Me and my stylist get along pretty well, I will say. She's a nice lady. Yeah. So tip your hair people well, folks. They work hard.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, we're talking about 3 episodes of Gridman.
Yeah.
What was the... Oh, actually, I should probably catch up since I was not...
Yes.
So I'm gonna be real. Y'all talked about my situation. I spent until like Wednesday trying to fix my sleep schedule because of that whippersnapper. It was a problem. It was not great.
That's bad.
It was really unpleasant. However, I do think this has weirdly fixed me because I am now like going to bed at midnight and waking up at like 6:45-ish, like a normal person probably should.
Yeah. I woke up at like 5:30 this morning, and that was unpleasant.
Yeah, it's It's too early.
Yeah.
Um.
Anyway, the episodes that you watched.
So that two-parter, fine and dandy. I think as a big two-parter threat, poison gas is a little maybe too obvious for what I think Gridman has given us in the past. I would have liked to see something maybe a little more digital.
They didn't have the imagination yet, but they didn't have fucking... I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you need something that could...
Yet.
Yeah, you need something to hit, like, the whole city, so, like, I get how they get there. The whole pollution...
They should have got, like, the one guy who did Summer Wars, but, like, from the future, so he could do that one Digimon movie / Summer Wars a third time, but
a third time. Yeah, oh, I love Summer Wars. That's a very pretty movie. Yeah, Takeshi's motivation being, oh, these fucking losers, they make the world so polluted. He becomes like a pollution accelerationist.
Yeah, that was part I didn't quite get. It was like, I hate pollution, so I'm gonna do more of it to teach everyone a lesson.
Yeah, that's like, I don't know what his angle is here. And then I think you two talked about it, but I think maybe there is one recap segment too many across those two episodes. Like, it's weird because it's
weird because it's like not a recap episode. We just have like recap montages briefly. You're just like, yeah, we're just gonna do for about a minute or two a recap, and then go back to like in a real episode.
And it's like, sometimes it kind of hits in the sense of like, oh, how far our heroes have come, and other times it's like, I feel like you didn't have enough for a two-parter. So yeah, it's you know,
it's not a recap episode because they don't like speak like a recap episode.
No, yeah.
So remember the time we did that? Oh, we had so many tribulations.
Yeah, nothing. Let me tell you, nothing's ever gonna beat that Macross recap episode.
No.
One of the greatest recap episodes of all time. Just make it a weird psychoanalytical dream for your main character.
I'm surprised that
all of his fears and insecurities.
Well, I guess I don't know. I guess the recap episode in Evangelion was pretty nifty, but
yeah, that was more like the interrogation, right?
It was like the reviewing the like footage and stuff.
Yeah. More on Evangelion later in this podcast.
Not for me.
Rip. So yeah, the two-parter I think was totally fine as a two-parter that wants to kind of end that segment of the show. I think it did a pretty solid job being a climax for that period of Gridman. And I was like, yep, thumbs up. That's all right. The toy episode I love. I think it's a lot of fun. Those two criminals are hilarious. I love how... I can't remember if you two talked about this because I was driving while listening, but the part where the cop at the end is like, well, the good news is someone paid off your debt, but you are going to jail for kidnapping a child, but they're like really happy about it. I'm like, now I don't know how the Japanese law works on that. I think that's a lot of time. I can only assume that's a lot of time.
Yeah, I assume.
But like they treated like, oh, everything worked out, and I'm like, I think that's at least got to be a decade, right? Like I don't think that's something you get off too lightly on. That was funny.
I guess
it was good. Okay, we have to talk about these episodes because I'm getting a lot of, and this is going to sound like I don't like it, but I mean this in the best possible way. I'm getting a lot of Twin Peaks Season 2 energy from this period of Gridman.
Where they had to make more episodes?
Yes, we're in the wacky zone.
I mean, more than usual?
I think more than usual. A dog explodes!
That's true. on Ultra Wiki, they're like, they have the list of like the trigger warnings, and it's like animal death.
Oh, I'm surprised they have content warnings for group. You know,
On the wiki, yeah.
Ultra wiki dub. That's good stuff. Wow. Yeah. Let's get right into it. I can't even remember which the first. Oh yeah, the kidnapping one.
No, the kidnapping one was last. Oh no, wait, there was a Takeshi kidnapping Yuka. Yeah.
Yes, that is the first one.
Yeah.
So I have 3 summaries here. Episode 28, Yuka vanished. Takeshi is feeling fucked up and gross, and he's following Yuka with a video camera, taping her at every moment and muttering to himself about my Yuka, quote unquote. He briefly thinks she's smiling at him, but no, it's Naoto. Takeshi designs a kaiju called Iganger with a big camera for a head, and puts up his official I'm up to no good puts on his official I'm up to no good fit. He starts following Yuka, waiting for her to be alone. She keeps getting this weird feeling that she's being watched all day, and Naoto and Ippei walk her home. Ippei jokes about how he can't let Naoto follow Yuka home, who knows what he might do. Yuka responds that Gridman would save her. After they drop Yuka off and day turns to night, Takeshi starts watching her through the windows while she's getting changed. Finally, he films her, and with the power of the kaiju, he traps her in his camera where she lives in her room with no way out. Soon, Takeshi is editing either footage of Yuka or the digital existence of Yuka so that she's saying goodbye to her family and telling them she's going to be happy with her one true love. When Yuka's family receives this tape, they show Naoto and Ippei's families, and the 2 boys figure out this tape is a forgery. Meanwhile, Takeshi isn't stopping with Yuka. He's got work to do for Con Digifer after all. He takes his camera and starts kidnapping any member of the public that annoys him even a little. Politician giving a speech? Annoying. Get kidnapped. Now, I do want to pause here. This is a bold first kidnapping. It's in front of a crowd of a bunch of people, and the guy just vanishes. I was like, I would have started small and maybe worked up to this, but he's just going for the
fucking Persona 5 moment.
I was thinking of Persona 5 during this part, I'm not gonna lie. Taxi driver tells him to get out of the road. Annoying. Get kidnapped. Train drivers generally annoying. Oops, low charge. Battery, better go charge your camera in an electronics store. Just go ahead and plug it into a cable in the display area. While Takeshi is waiting for his camera to charge, Naoto turns into Gridman. Ippei deploys the revived god Zenon, and the kaiju gets fucked up. The captives are freed, and Yuka realizes she was right. She was saved by Gridman. The end.
I have a few questions.
Yes?
About this episode. First of all, what kind of video store just lets 2 middle schoolers come in and just analyze a tape? And has the equipment to just be like, oh, this is a forgery. Somehow, we know this.
Yeah.
And second, why does Takeshi have to go to a store to charge his battery?
There is a component of this. Now, I was not hanging out in video camera stores in the 90s, let alone in Japan.
Yeah.
But I am. This moment did make me wonder, like, I don't know enough about 90s video camera technology. Like, did they have public charging outlets at shops, maybe? I don't actually know.
Like, why wouldn't you go home and do this?
Yeah, maybe the home chargers are expensive, though I doubt it because it's like a handheld camera battery thing.
I think even if you had like, I just didn't think they'd have like a public charging station.
Yeah, this is not something I've ever seen or heard of.
I also enjoy how Takeshi just walks past Naoto in the store.
It's pretty good. This show every now and again does like a they just miss each other moment, and it's always funny. I like it a lot. I mean, this is something that they kind of carry on within the anime, both anime too, right? Where like they don't like their conflict is indirect in the computer. It doesn't always translate to the real space.
Yeah.
It's fun. Do you think this is kind of I feel like a rhetorical question because I feel like we've kind of talked about this already, but now more than ever, it feels like Takeshi's level of creepiness and depravity is extremely dependent on who's writing the episode.
Because I don't know if we've had a real conversation about that, but also, yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah, like, this feels like
This is like a level of
yeah, like this is skeevy.
This is a little too much.
Yeah. But also in line with when he like tried looking up that one policewoman's skirt.
Yeah.
Which we also I think commented on is like this feels a little too far for how he's normally portrayed.
Yeah.
But like it feels like we have two conflicting degrees of like sympathetic loner guy who just doesn't know how to talk to people or predatory creep.
Are we back to the days of Ultra 7 where we have writers who just disagree with each other?
It might be the case. Yeah, it's interesting to like track because like every episode it's like how nefarious the plot is and how creepy he gets definitely fluctuates.
Yeah.
I mean, even beyond like the creepiness, he like just attempts to crash a train.
Yeah, that's absurd. The levels of evil.
Like that goes beyond like, oh, I'm gonna get rid of people that are mildly annoyed to me to I want to cause a mass casualty incident on the tracks.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. This kaiju is really fucking cool.
Yeah, it's like a fun camera kaiju.
It's like a weird Cyclops dragon thing where like it has like a lens. It has a mono eye basically.
Yeah.
I think all three of these kaiju. I mean, I'm not sure exactly how it worked because like I know you said last time they got the extension.
Yeah.
At least this batch, I feel like the kaiju designs have all been pretty inspired compared to what we've been getting.
Yeah. Especially because, like, as I'll know in the trivia, they're all, like, reusing suits. They're really, like, recycling for this one. But yeah, there's some pretty cool designs all the same.
What else do I have about this episode?
I kind of like the setup of, like, the camera, like, Yuka's room and the camera.
Yes.
That's fun.
I did think it was funny how she gets her whole room, but then like we cut to the politician guy, and he's just in the static hell dimension. I'm like, oh damn, Yuka got it kind of easy. She at least has like a bedroom.
Yeah,
that dude's just floating around.
I like. What do I like? Oh yeah, I like that when she's free from the room, she exits into the office from Ultraman Arc.
Yes, yeah, the light, the blinding light of reality. Oh, what I was gonna say, I mentioned this earlier when we were talking about AI bros. The level, like the degree to which we get a little bit of Takeshi being a creep, where like he's editing video of him and like Yuka together to like make like an artificial relationship feels kind of ripped from the headlines of what creepy dudes are doing with AI in current year. In a way that I was like, oh fuck. that is wild how we kind of got there.
Yeah. It is like a funny shot of him just like badly photoshopping himself into the scene, as much as it's also very creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is insane episode.
It is. I forgot to mention, but I'm a fan of King Gridman. Good design. Cool.
It's cool.
Cool effects.
I'm glad we got like Godzilla back, so there's like, you know, he has 2 robot friends again. Now that he has like forums for both of them.
Yeah. I don't know that I got too much else on this one. It was just an enjoyable episode. I have some questions about Takeshi's continued characterization as the villain of the show.
Yeah.
This episode was directed by Hirochika Muraishi and then written by Mie Hirano.
All right. Suit actors for this episode are Gridman Hiroki Okano, God Zenon, Kunitoshi Endo. And for I Gengar, suit actor Atsuya Nishimura, and is repurposed from Magna Gauss, based off a gun, muzzle, and a camera, though apparently some earlier draft designs, which I don't have images of, or thought about making it a plant kaiju.
Oh,
I'm getting hiccups. I don't know why they were considering a plant, but
yeah,
I guess
that
at some point they
has
were.
nothing to do with this.
Yeah, I guess they were like, that's probably why they didn't go for it. Um, Also, a bit of trivia I missed from last week. Baranga also used Venora's tail.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm looking at the booklet where they have the kaiju lineup, and I looked at the Magna Gauss, and I'm looking at the Gagger, and yeah, that's definitely a modified suit.
Yeah.
I think this is an upgrade though. I like it's the face. It's honestly the face. It looks so much cooler with the weird head thing. Do we want to move on to episode 2? 29
Yeah.
rather. A pet dog bomb operation.
Yes.
Takeshi gets scared by a dog, causing him to get noodles spilled all over him. Time to get revenge on dogs. The trio meets Minako, who might be the girl who wanted to be a diplomat in the cram school episode.
That was my first thought, but I
also thought she looked familiar.
Yeah.
She's got a little dog called Ram, and Ram's got a big electronic collar that tracks her whereabouts. Neat. Unfortunately, Takeshi has been hacking these collars and using them to make the dogs violent. Minako gets bitten by Ram while she's studying at home, and Ram runs away. Con Digifer thinks this is a good start, making humans dislike dogs, ... But surely we can do better, Takeshi. Why not make the collars explode? Takeshi thinks this is a little extreme, but Con Digifer disagrees. He assumes direct control of Takeshi and puts the new plan in motion. Out on the street, the trio are approached by a dog that's beeping. Seems weird. Oh hey, look, it's got a collar just like Minako's dog. This dog then runs around a corner and explodes. Red note, I can't believe of all the fucking episodes, the podcast I'm not on is the one where we talk about the Gridman Bob Dogs episode. Please everyone go to YouTube and watch the Bob Dogs clip from the day today and imagine the things I might be saying right now if I was there. Gigantic mess, etc. The trio go looking for Minako to maybe save her dog Ram from dying in an explosion, which I should note, irrationally afraid of this episode.
Yes.
Which should be scary. They find her looking for Ram and they notice she's been bitten. It must be the collar. Naoto gets the call from Gridman, so he and Ippei head to Junk while Yuka looks for Ram with Minako. Yuka and Minako find Ram, but they struggle to get the collar off. Minako decides to explode with Ram. That... Oh, fuck, I need a drink, hold on. Decides to explode with Ram and urges Yuka to leave. Yuka hits her and tells her not to give up on Ram so easily. They manage to get the collar off, but it seems like it's too late. Yuka doesn't have time to throw it away. Yes, I also was wondering about this. And then the collar stops beeping. Gridman went into the computer world and defeated Kung Fu Shinobular just in time. Yuka thanks Gridman for saving her life. Later, Minako thanks the trio for their help. Meanwhile, Daichi grabs Ram and tries to terrify his mother, who is scared of dogs. A dog bit her in the ass once, and instead of vowing revenge and making them explode, she's just been spending the whole episode telling Daichi he can't have a dog. The end. You know, relatable. My neighbor had a dog named Odie.
Yeah.
And it loved to chase me, and it one time I was too slow getting into my garage door, and Odie bit my rump. I was like 4 or 5, and despite having a dog, this made me afraid of any dog that was not my own for like a good couple years of my life, and then eventually I just kind of got over it. But
yeah, my mom has a phobia of dogs because she was bitten as a kid, but she has not gotten over it. Unfortunately. I
mean, that shit hurts. I still remember the feeling of being like, oh no, I didn't get inside in time. My ass hurts. It was scary. My older sister is still best friends with the daughter of that family. Well, maybe not best friends, but she ended up going a weird religious route in life, and every time I get an update on how she's raising her kids, I die a little on the inside.
Oh, no.
They don't celebrate. Okay, Mel, this is maybe the most evil parenting thing I've ever heard in my life. When your kids are like 6, 7, 8, just being like, oh, we used to do Halloween, but it's satanic, so we don't do it anymore. You have to stay inside while all of your friends are getting candy. Yeah. Evil. And I'm like, why are you still friends with her? And she's like, I try to be a voice of reason in her life. I'm like, braver than the troops, my sister. But
yeah, I don't think you should expect your kids to grow up to like you.
Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying. The last time I talked to her, she gave me the last time I talked to her is when I moved to the city. And she's like, do you want an old DVD shelf? And I was like, sure. And there was a Jesus on the Cross sticker on the side that I took off.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyways, exploding dogs.
Yeah,
this episode is wild.
I think Super Eyes at their best when they make an episode that's insane.
Yes. I cannot. There's footage of the dog going around a twist in the road, and then there's just an explosion. it's maybe the most up there in terms of the most ridiculous things we have seen covering this podcast, I feel. Also, there is no something about the explosion that is worth noting.
This, just so you can see in the
let me see. Yeah, blood, animal death. True. We actually, I think is this the only time in the show we've seen blood? It might be. When the hand gets bit. Because I did notice that. I was like, oh, that's a little further than these shows usually get. And it wasn't even like combat. It was a dog bite. Which I thought was interesting. But yeah, worth noting about the explosion. There is no gore left behind, obvious reasons it's a kid show. Yeah. But the scraps of metal are left behind.
Yeah.
Which is just a wild sight.
I like how they're like, yeah, this is like a digital dog collar that like gets rid of fleas somehow.
Yes.
Why do you need to put the dog collar? Well, I guess, these days you'd have like tracking on your phone.
Yeah.
But like I guess like the idea that like, oh, the computerized collar would be used not for tracking, but somehow for getting rid of fleas is wild to me.
The I love that there's a news broadcast halfway through where the news anchor is like baffled and she's like, it seems to be a problem with the collar's microchips. And I'm like, yeah, I would also be confused. The chase sequence between Yuka and Minako at the end is amazing. The idea that she takes the collar off and it's beeping in a tone that I can only describe as I am about to fucking explode, and Yuka doesn't like brace or throw it or anything. She's just staring at it like, oh, we're dead. Just like, holy shit, what is going on? Oh, it's so funny. We also get a dog's eye view, Resident Evil style bite cam for one of the attacks.
Oh, this is just like stray dog, Kerberos Panzer.
Yes. His master's voice. This time the master's Con Digifer, unfortunately. Can you imagine if Chiba played Con Digifer? That'd be great.
That'd be really funny.
Con Digifer finally manifested. Everyone's like, damn, he's shorter than I thought. I don't really know how much else I have to say. This episode, Kung Fu Shinobular is really fun.
I love that his name is Kung Fu Shinobular.
That's actually just the name. It should be. And also, I don't think non-Kung Fu Shinobular talked.
No, he did. He's the guy who talked about the aesthetics of evil.
Yes. Oh, true, true, true. Okay, yes. Okay, okay, that is right. Um, I I wish more monsters in the show talked. I think it's really fun. Kung Fu Shinovalar is great. He's bragging. He's a braggart.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a fun bit of like from Ultra 7 is like, oh yeah, the kaiju are sentient.
yeah. Um, but there's some good back and forth. He has some cool ninja techniques that they have fun effects and stuff for. Um, yeah, the show is firing on all cylinders in terms of wackiness,
Yeah.
and I think it's been to its benefit, at least for these two episodes.
Yeah.
um, the I'm trying to think if this is trying like I kind of went into this episode thinking it would have more to say about pet ownership, and I don't really know that it does. I guess like kind of at the end with like, oh, the bond between a person and a pet can get the caregiver through a lot of hard times,
Yeah.
which like is true to my experience having several pets in my life. Um but I
There's the
don't
degree to which I'm like, how much is Gridman able to do actual social commentary when it's absolutely ridiculous?
it does, yeah, like that is
Not that
kind
we
of
haven't had episodes that have touched on some stuff like that, but sometimes it is just an insane show.
well, yeah, because like this one in particular, I feel like might be the best example of it kind of falling apart, because what I feel like it just ends up being about is like fear of adopting the new technology, because like what if it gets hacked and explodes, and I feel like that kind of eclipses
Yeah, a thing
whatever
that
else they're
definitely
going for.
happens.
Yeah. um and also, like, I mean, I want to extend the show at least a little bit of grace, because I feel like it was at a period where maybe this was not as accessible in the forefront of people's mind or like public consciousness, but like the and I feel like I've touched on this before in previous episodes too, but like this show exists at such an interesting time in the 90s where
Yeah.
we are afraid or have reservations and concerns about new technology entering and altering how we live our lives. But instead of extending a lot of that concern into what is like the material societal impact this is having in terms of like, you know, harming people or the environment, or like, you know, causing issues for people making a living because, you know, like people suddenly are out of jobs, like any of this stuff, it's more concerned about like, well, what if the thing you bought sets you on fire? You know?
Yeah.
Like it's so individualized and personal rather than stretching out to what are the implications of us accepting and normalizing this new thing.
Yeah. And I think like
I just don't think we were there yet, you know?
yeah, and like I feel like Mega Man Battle Network is like obviously playing in a similar space, but also that comes out in 8 years later when there's a lot more normalization of what the online is, even though it's still also very new and novel.
Yeah.
Like, I think like, you know, that was a time when I was like going on the computer to like look up Pokemon stuff online, which is like not a thing I was doing. Well, I wasn't born when Gridman came out, but it wasn't really till like, you know, the tail end of the 90s. Like, you know, there's definitely like a big shift in like online being more of a thing over the course of the 90s, and like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, like I mean, I think all three of us probably like grew up in a time where like computer stuff was part of like even early on my school education stuff of like, oh hey
Yeah.
kids, here's how you look up things on the internet, right?
Yeah, like in elementary school I had computer lab
Yeah,
as
yeah,
like a
same.
subject, which I didn't really understand at the time. We were just like, oh yeah, how fun, we kids get to have a class about computers where we just goof off on the computer. and sometimes have to do lessons of typing. But now in hindsight, I'm like, oh yeah, well now I understand why they were doing that.
Yeah.
And now I don't even know if they have computer lab as a class, because presumably most people going to school have just used computers or tablets already.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but not enough to use file systems.
Yeah,
apparently.
I was about to say, the problem that like college professors and stuff have been having, right? The one that drove me up the wall recently, that made me scream into a void, is a high school teacher posting about, and this was like I think like junior year class, but like told a kid who was like a straight A student, like smart kid, like, hey, you didn't fill out all, like, the entire, like, you didn't do all of the, like, requirements for this essay. It's pretty good otherwise, but can you revise it and then submit a corrected version? I'll only dock you a couple points then. And then the kid got kind of pissy and was like, I just don't want to have to type all that back. And then the teacher was like, well, I mean, just, like, you just have to revise a few things. And eventually the teacher figured out the kid didn't realize you could save files. And was just typing from a blank doc every time.
Oh.
And I'm like, how is this happening? Did you have a program called Kid Pix in school that let you draw around and stuff?
I think so.
Yeah, I remember
Math
that.
Circus?
Do we have what? What was it called?
Math Circus.
No, I don't think so. Is that like a similar thing where you could draw around and shit?
No, it was like a series of games based on math, with also like the most crude rudimentary art ever.
Oh. No, I don't think we had that one.
Yeah, check out this. Get a load of that.
Oh. This is horrifying. Why does he have a ladder? What's he doing with it?
Well, you know.
Wait, why are two of them crossed out as if this is a hit list?
No, I think this game was like one where like they injure each other with their implements, and you have to do things in a way where that doesn't happen.
Oh.
It's been a while.
Gonna tell my kids this is the amazing digital circus. Yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to say about the exploding dogs. This is ridiculous. I love this episode.
Yeah, this is fantastic. This is going up there with like what is a Hall of Fame of like ridiculous episodes? Like there's Dragon Palace.
We have to kill the evil child. I think
there's
up there.
The parrot wife robot.
yes. You know what's funny is I always want to say the Raygon episode of Ultra Q, but it's really not the episode. It's just the part where June tries to throw the music box off the cliff and thinks that's a good idea, that's gonna work, and the creature's not stupid.
Yeah.
That moment lives rent-free in my brain forever. You know, actually, Balloonga is pretty fucking ridiculous, the more I think about it.
Yeah, but that's, they do a good job playing it for drama.
They do.
I'm trying to think of, like, what's another... It's not a good one. Another just absolutely absurd episode.
The hot air balloon shenanigans.
I forgot that one.
I think that's in... What's the one where they add the kid we hate?
Ace,
yes.
The sixth Ultra Brother, named Dan.
Yes, Dan. Yep, that one. Yeah. I couldn't even remember his name for a second there.
I only remember it because it's like really egregious to call him Dan for obvious reasons.
Yes. Now, if I'm remembering that hot air balloon episode correctly, they're like, all right, child, you're the only one who can infiltrate this hot air balloon ride. Here's a gun. Or something to that effect.
Yes. Ace also had the piss episode.
It did have the piss episode where we learned our tragic motorcycle delinquent turned hero backstory that he used to wet the bed.
Notably, the motorcycle delinquent backstory was not in that episode. It was a different episode.
It was a different episode. They just kept adding on. That most interesting man in the world.
Yeah. That's why they didn't have room for two protagonists, because he's so interesting. They had to throw the woman under the bus.
One episode he's like, "Did I ever tell you about the time I climbed Mount Everest?" And then the next episode he's like, "Did I ever tell you about the time I shit myself during a race?"
You know, Ace would be better if like Hokuto did that and they did like Family Guy cutaway gags.
Hey, Ultraman Ace, take those sneakers off. No. Every now and again, my YouTube algorithm gets stuck in the Family Guy hole.
Jimmy from...
Oh, yeah, Jimmy's... Yeah.
Great has Jimmy and also the Rugolo and the...
Yes. Because Jimmy happened so recently, I feel like it hasn't settled in to the Hall of Fame yet, but like it clearly is there. That child flies off into the void.
It's such an insane episode. I don't know what they were doing. I can't tell how much of the episode is just insane because it's like a broken telephone between Japanese and Australian writers.
This episode was directed by Teruyoshi Ishii and then written by Masakazu Megita. Wait, I got it wrong. It was directed by that person and then written by Yoshichika Shindo. I read episode 30s by mistake. I apologize. This is the second time this season I've done this. I'm losing my touch.
Suit actors Gridman, Normal, Hiroki Okano, King, Kunotoshi Endo, and Kung Fu Shinobular, Toshio Miyake. Notably, the voice actor for Shinobular is Hisao Agawa, which is different from the first episode he appeared in, which I think was episode 9. Oh. But he's the same voice actor he had in episode 15, which is the second time he showed up.
Oh, okay.
Which I didn't mention that last time, because I didn't think that it was different. Also, I just want to share some of the highlights from this batch of our blessed, talented translators. I really like this one from the end of this episode.
Jesus Christ, you are disgusting.
And then this one was insane to me from the previous episode, because I was like, they did not say that.
Spirited Away, the movie? I don't even remember what context this is in.
That was like they saw the taxi driver get whisked away, and everyone's like, oh, he's been spirited away. And they're like, huh, that's weird, or something like that. I don't know what they said in Japanese, but here they say Spirited Away, the movie, which is definitely not
out yet.
It's not out yet, and also the line is too short for that to be a thing remotely, like they're saying. So I don't know why they were like, oh yeah, a translation.
We love translation, folks.
Yeah. I only found out last week. Not last week. I only found out yesterday about the shit posts Red put on the Blue Sky of like that one VTuber going, Jesus.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus. Somehow, through Toku HD, the spirit of Eiji Tsuburaya is alive and well.
See, but he'd be infuriated because they keep saying the Lord's name in vain. That's a big no-no.
Yeah.
I said Jesus Christ once as a child and got in so much trouble. And then
cheese and rice.
I just say it all the time now. It has a good mouthfeel. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Exasperated. This is nice. Episode 30. The day of the world destruction.
Uh-huh.
Let me just scan the summary.
Uh-huh.
Because there was a threat.
A threat that Red issued in the chat yesterday.
Red posted in the chat, I'm gonna fill this summary with things Brad isn't allowed to say. And I don't think they did. Alright, so episode 30, The Day of the World Destruction. There's a fortune-telling machine that apparently gives scarily accurate fortunes, and it tells Takeshi that if he goes to the spot on this day, he'll meet Yuka, who won't be able to let him go. He heads to the spot in an outrageous outfit and sees Yuka, but she ignores him. As he says her name, a flamboyant man who goes by Yuka takes a liking to him, and suddenly Takeshi is in Persona 5. Yeah, I was thinking of that beach scene from Persona 3, personally.
It's just Persona in general, really.
True. This was what the fortune meant. Takeshi gets home and tells Khan Digifer about his suffering, and he mainly just gets laughed at. Takeshi concocts a scheme to get revenge. He sends the kaiju Jubagon to sabotage the fortune-telling machine so that Khan Digifer can mind control the user, but only in the format of an appropriate fortune that plays on the real wishes of the user. The fortune-telling machine tells Kana that she should kill all her romantic rivals if she wants to have Naoto to herself, and it tells Naoto's dad he should quit his job. When the mom gets home, she sees him with a guitar and a wig talking about Paul, Ringo, John, and George, in that order specifically. Meanwhile, Kana attempts to murder Yuka. Naoto realizes both of them mentioned the fortune-telling machine, and he goes to investigate, and ... I don't really know what he thought was going to happen, but he gets mind-controlled.
It has been established he's not very smart.
He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he is a rock star. Kana Digifer
No, that's
starts...
his dad.
Oh, true. Somebody once told him the role was gonna roll him. Khan Digifer starts expanding his operation and beaming his control ray out to the surrounding city. People start acting on their desires with no regard for society. We need Gridman, but where's Naoto? When Yuka and Ippei find him, he's terrified of being a hero and battling evil. He doesn't want to do it. Gridman has to force the transformation, but after the combination, Gridman is too scared to fight. Khan Digifer takes this opportunity to mind control Gridman, and now Gridman is his pawn, sabotaging the computer world. Ippei deploys God Zenon and beats up Gridman to wake him up, but Yuka doesn't really think that's helping. What if you kill Naoto? Ippei points out the whole world is at stake, but Yuka says you can't save the world if you can't save one person. Yuka puts love itself into a computer program and sends it to Gridman. This works, and Takeshi observes that Gridman is back to sane. He does say the word "he's back to sane," which I thought was really funny and kind of weird way to put it. Gridman defeats the kaiju and the day is saved. Takeshi thinks he might do better with written fortunes, and he gets predicted bad luck and then gets assaulted by the gay guy again at the end. This episode is a roller coaster of, oh, that's pretty funny, to ooh. over and over again.
In the chat?
I can't say that image.
It's just a musical instrument. Okay, where do we want to start with this?
So I like this episode when it is going full Looney Tunes with like his dad wanting to create a Japanese equivalent of the Beatles.
Yeah.
Or like we get the news anchor again saying, a pilot tried to do loop-de-loop in a jumbo jet, and he said he just felt like it. And I think that stuff's really fun. When it's being homophobic, and we get that one awkward clip of a guy just lifting up women's skirts. It's that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But.
Yeah, it's like fucked up because like both like gross, just general queerphobia, because like doesn't really distinguishing between like cis gay people and like trans people.
Yeah,
and it's also doing a gay panic way that also is like making fun of like men getting sexually assaulted. Also,
just and immediately just immediately casting this person as, oh, this is a predator.
As a joke, and it's also like, well, also Takeshi's like a child.
Yes, yeah. There are multiple levels to this, unfortunately.
Like it's just repugnant. Like there's no.
It's really bad. It's pretty, frankly, like
the 90s. Eh?
Yeah. Like it's like this is like a weird thing to think about in the history of all the shows we've been watching, but it's like we are at a point in history, like I feel like previous shows don't like just pretended queer people don't exist, like they don't even want to put them on screen, and then we're at a point now where it's like, oh, well, we could put them on screen, but they have to be like a punching down gag for a shitty comedy that sucks.
Yeah, it's like the absolute worst gay panic humor.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. And also, this is just kind of weird. Like
it's a weird one.
Like, this is some cinema sin shit, unfortunately, because I maybe I shouldn't be thinking that way, but like, Naoto goes and gets brainwashed by the fortune-telling machine. After that happens, Con Digifer is like, time for me to brainwash everyone, even if they haven't walked up to the machine, and I don't know how he is able to do this suddenly.
Denko waves.
And then also, the brainwashing of Naoto is actually like independent of the brainwashing of Gridman for some reason.
See, this is the part I do kind of like that.
I do like that execution, but it is weird when like this is the most they've separated the two when they're transformed.
Yeah,
in like the whole show.
I do kind of like the problem of, oh no, for the hero to be the hero guy, the human component has to be has to be there and be around and like want to actually help. And you get to a point where Gridman's like, well, this is an emergency, and just kind of jacks like Naoto in against his will. And it's but also too, like, there's this weird part where Con Digifer is like, oh, but like I can't, it's not suddenly Con Digifer has like this weird like valor of like, oh, I can't beat Gridman when he's in this state. It's not satisfied enough.
I don't think it's valor so much as like, in this case, there's obviously a valor honor way to do this trope.
Yeah.
But I feel like in this case it's simply like more like in the sadist way of like, well, I get no enjoyment if he's just like rolling over pathetic.
Yeah, no, it's like
the breaking him down, which feels like enjoyable, like bringing him to
That does make more sense, yeah.
I think the kaiju has an attack called the barbecue beam or whatever.
Yes. That and I do like that. And then Naoto's like, if I go in there, I'm gonna get cooked like a hamburger steak. I like hamburger steak, but not being one.
This is just like the Yumeneko screenshot I shared last week.
Yeah.
Shout out to Delta. You're evil.
I think there, like I said, I think there's a lot of fun with like the brainwashing for in most of the time. The brainwashing stuff seems pretty fun. Some of the Naoto stuff feels like it maybe drags a little bit. And again, I really don't think we needed to see the one guy upskirting a bunch of ladies randomly. That was fucking weird.
I like the one where it's like the person who's working retail at the ice cream parlor and it's like, fuck it, I want ice cream.
Yeah.
And then she or manager starts having an ice cream fight. It's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guy who's just like doing like serial like skirt flipping is just kind of, oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
It's just gross.
Definitely a very uneven episode.
Yeah, like, there is theoretically stuff to enjoy, but isn't as like fleshed out, and it comes at the, along with some real nasty baggage. So
Yeah. I like the monster. Again.
Of course they were going to do this, but yeah, brainwashed Gridman is like obviously alluding to like his eyes are sort of evoking like the fake Ultraman from Zarab.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that makes sense.
Spoilers, every single time they're going to probably reference this.
I did have a few thoughts about like Yuka's love kind of being the thing that snaps him out of it. On one hand, I like it because it is kind of a continuation and like a solidification of like, oh, they're becoming more open with each other about, being like, having feelings in that way.
Yeah.
Coming off of last week's two-parter. However, it was just a few episodes ago that I almost said Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty kisses him, back to full health. And I am like, is this too close after the last one to kind of do that again? But
yeah, I also kind of am just not interested in much in like the show changing their dynamic to be like a romantic one, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially because it's like the most generic thing ever.
I kind of like it just in the sense that I like that there's a little, at the very least, I do kind of enjoy there being a shift up in like this trio's relationship. At least in like any form, rather than them kind of being the trio of friends the whole way through. I like when there's kind of like a shift like that, but
yeah, but it's also like the most
it is
version of this.
The hero ends up with girl thing, yeah.
Especially like Naoto is not necessarily the most interesting protagonist. Like he's more interesting than a lot of Ultraman protagonists we've had some cases, just because
he's so weird.
Well, he's so weird, and also like a kid protagonist might be more interesting than just a guy.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, no, the kid who gets like grounded for not doing schoolwork is like at least a bit more interesting than protagonist man.
Yeah. There is a little bit, and Red kind of touched on this last episode with like there is a weird divide where like Gridman and Naoto are in the computer, and then Yuka and Ippei are kind of back in the real world playing support roles like together. And there was like a little bit of the show where I was wondering if they were maybe going to do like a Yuka and Ippei feel close because of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That they don't really end up going
I feel
for.
like that would be a more interesting development.
Because
I think like because it feels like Naoto gets the girl because he is protagonist man.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
And I think like they did like Naoto being the one who, by being the hero, is actually like in the computer and being Gridman, and so it isn't less himself. Whereas all the like teamwork is done between the other two is like a more interesting way of doing the same thing.
Yeah. Ippei also does get a little weird about it in the ways you would expect Ippei to get weird about it. Like those two clearly being more of a item.
Yeah.
I fortunately think they've done a good job of not pushing it too far where it feels like Ippei's being a real weirdo about it.
Yeah.
And I hope they continue to have that restraint, but we will have to see. I feel like I remember seeing fortune-telling machines like this at like water parks and stuff.
Yeah, and like bars or something like that. I feel like I see it more like bars and stuff than like.
Well, there is the one that I remember that has like a little animatronic lady inside. That let me see if I can find this. Oh yeah, like something like this. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these. I don't know if this one's like a fully computerized like screen thing that they have in the show. But then, like, I definitely feel like I've seen these in places where it's like a little animatronic.
Complete with the Orientalism.
Yeah. I feel like I remember seeing one of these that was kind of in this style, but was maybe a little bigger and like definitely playing on some Romani stereotypes, let's just say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did you look up the completely tangential, but look up the name of the Orcus ED?
I bet it's not great. Ah.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. It's crazier too, because that like the song is sung by like an American who immigrated to Japan.
Oh.
Yeah, the chorus is yeah, when we did the Orgus pods, me and Shane, we were like, yeah, we can't use this ED at the end of the episode.
That's a good call.
It's just like it just has a fucking slur.
It does. It's don't look up the name of the robot from Pacific Rim.
No. Yeah.
Some people still name their kids that.
Danger?
No, the other one.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, it is still a bit pervasive.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not great.
But hey, I mean, at least we defeated the R slur in the 2000s, right?
I'm hearing that one in my normal life more and more these days to a distressing degree. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a big sad on the ground lost on that.
I see too many people even like, some Zoomer oomphs I have. I'm like, oh my god, how do I? Right, like, do you just not know? I also had this moment when I was like, one of the things I'm bringing today, from the next segment, I was just like, it just came up where it's like a character calls someone stupid, but like they use that, and I'm like, well, this is how I know these subs are from the 2000s.
Yep, absolutely.
Which I guess makes sense because that's when the show came out, but anyway, who wrote this episode?
This episode was written by Teruyoshi Ishii and then written by Masakuzu Megida.
Okay. So also just like no one from this week or that last week is a new guy, right? No, returning favorites. Favorites asterisk. Okay. Suit actor Gridman, Katoshi Endo, God Zenon, Hiroki Okano, Jubagon, suit actor Toshio Miyake, modified for Mecha Flamealar. Apparently, initial concepts were for a quadrupedal European-style dragon called a Zodius, the magical monster, and sort of the horns and the sails on his back were leftovers from this idea.
Oh, there was a little smudge on the phone. I just realized I totally butchered this guy's name. It's Masakazu Megida. There's a smudge on my booklet. That's Gridman.
Yeah. Ended with a whimper this week, unfortunately.
It did. This said, I like the energy we have going into this final batch.
I feel pretty good about this, like, well, 3 weeks basically. Like we're at we got like less than a month left.
Yeah.
And then at some point I have to explain to everyone the really stupid schedule we have going into the road to Tiga.
Is that what we're calling it? Hashtag Road to Tiga?
Yeah, well, yeah. It's the long awaited.
On the road.
I mean, I guess, immediately after Gridman is just power, so that's, easy, but, after power, it gets weird, so.
It gets silly. It gets silly core.
Yeah. Because there's just a bunch of, weird odds and ends and stuff.
The 90s were the time for weird odds and ends, let me tell you. That's how I came to be.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Only 90s kids will understand.
Only 90 kids would understand the Oozinator.
True.
Which is a pretty a post 2000s thing.
I was about to say, I feel like a gun that shoots slime reeks of 2000s toys to me. But want a break? I could use some more soda.
I gotta do my timers first. Excuse you.
Fuck. Oh no, I did the red. It's the host cursed.
Yeah.
Just forgetting about the timers.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Episode 28, 4 minutes 29 seconds, and Godzilla is 1 minute 54 seconds. Episode 29, 6 minutes 49 seconds. Dino Dragon is 3 minutes 46 seconds. Episode 30, 5 minutes 30 seconds, and Godzilla is 1 minute 16 seconds.
There we go. I'm gonna go grab more drink.
Okay.
And then we'll be back to talk about everything else.
Everything?
Yeah, I watched 20 heist films. No, I'm joking. All right, I'll be right back.
Welcome back.
I got quite a bit, so how much you got?
I have like less, I think. I have some stuff, but relatively.
Why don't you go first?
Okay. I'm gonna do 2 minor things first. I'm calling the schlock corner.
Okay.
I finished for GGP the rewatch of Build Fighters Try.
How is that? I know people don't like that one. I've not been listening to
not
the build
a good
seasons.
show. So for context, I watched both Build Fighters Season 1 and Try as like my first 2 Gundam shows when they came out and then actually got into Gundam proper in 2020 during COVID lockdown. And I remember thinking, original Build Fighters, wow, this is amazing. This is like a fantastic S-tier show. And then after rewatching GP, I'm like, well, it's good. It's fine, but it's not like amazing. It has its problems, but and Try, the first half was like, okay, this show isn't great, but it is like, competent. It's like just kind of boring. It's nothing like, it's not as bad as I remember it. And I still say it isn't necessarily as bad as I remember it, because it is like not Seed. Like, I've simply just seen worse Gundam shows. But also, the second half of that show is incomprehensible. Like, they just didn't know how to write it, I guess.
Oh.
Like, it's also like one of the big problems of the show is because they switched to the 3x3 tournament format. They don't really have a lot of room to actually characterize opponents and rivals. So the show relies on a lot of like, who's going to win by booking, and there's no real character arc, and also nobody has a real character beyond like, I like winning. I need to strive for competition or whatever. I don't know. It's just like a real, like, they were just writing it as they went along and were like asleep at the wheel, it feels like.
Oh.
Yeah.
I tried.
Hey.
God damn it! I didn't even. Fuck. I attempted to watch Build after years of being like, I'll get to the toy ones eventually.
Yeah.
And I just might not watch them. I don't really know if I care. I know people like the first Build, and I think people like, was it Divers?
Yeah, Divers Re-Rise. Like, I also watched Divers Re-Rise when I was airing, which was 2020. So like, just basically in the Divers Rise kind of made me go, okay, maybe I could actually watch actual Gundam.
Yeah,
but I never watched the original Divers.
Maybe at some point I'll get around to them, but I just nothing about them pulls me in, I suppose, is what I'll say. But
yeah, that's reasonable. And second, you can hear more details of this over on the Tea Times, but the replacement for Super Sentai, Gavan Infinity, ended.
Was it amazing?
Man, that show's dog shit.
Oh.
It's truly the most white bread Toei thing ever. And also, I don't know what they were doing, and I did not care. Like, it didn't have form bloat like Modern Rider does, thankfully. Because that's more, is I guess more Sentai in that, like, there's more individual heroes who don't really have forms. But it's extremely just uninteresting characters, mostly. And the whole
do you think they played it too safe as their first, like, we're not doing Sentai anymore thing?
Maybe, but also it's weird. Like, I haven't watched the original Space Sheriff Gavan, but, like, this show is, like, the premise is basically Gavan Spider-Verse, where it's like, oh, there's a multiverse, and each universe has only one singular Gavan in it, except for the red one, who's the protagonist and can dimension hop.
Are there multiple Gavan shows for them to, like, be doing something like this, or is there just the original?
There's the original, and then they had 2 sequels with 2 different guys. And then there was, like, a 2010s reboot in the state that was just like, oh, hey, here's a new Gavan, but also his mentor was the original Gavan.
Oh.
And also, the new Gavan has the exact same suit design as the old one, because it's just like, a legacy title. But also, they do a dual henshin together. But yeah, this is extremely, like, they made something new using the skin of the old thing, and I don't know why they did this way. It just is dumb. I'm glad it's 23 episodes only. They just wrapped it up real quick. The next thing they're doing is a Monster Hunter themed thing. I don't know what's up with that.
Is it like a whole new IP?
Yeah, well, they're calling this thing that replaced Sentai Project Red, and they're just doing a bunch of random shows about, like, well, the heroes are red, and that's all we got to go off. But yeah.
Huh.
They're all under, like, this Project Red label, but yeah, this one's just completely, it's like, let me just see what it's called. Kakase Hunter Omega Horn. I don't know what Kakase means per se, but I guess episode 1, aired yesterday. So, I haven't seen it yet.
Well, hopefully that one's
yeah, I'm hoping that this one is more inspired just by being a new thing.
Yeah.
That's, like, wholly detached from whatever weird attempt to throw back in a way that just feels... Like, as far as I can tell, there was barely any real... I don't know, I have to ask my friend who's actually seen Gavan if it's actually doing any dumb thing that's, like, throwback stuff, but I only feel like the Green Twitch was doing it was also surface level anyway, so it just felt like, well, yeah, maybe it was just, like, the safe thing as a stopgap to immediately follow up Sentai, and then they're good. The actual thing that took effort to make, that was actually creative, was the thing that's the follow-up, so we shall see. This one I'm not sure how much I can talk about because of you, but I also took the time because I couldn't go see a thing in theaters. I was like, okay, I'll do this instead. I watched, finally, after all these years, the first 3 VOTOMS OVAs on my Blu-ray.
Oh, yeah. I gotta watch the TV show yet.
Yeah, I'll give the briefest of cursory summaries in a way that, like,
Okay.
Like, the first one I thought was pretty good. It's called Last Red Shoulder. It's basically like, is it integral for some reason? Like, it takes place between the first and second arc of the show, and it's basically like Kiriko going together with his old war buddies to do one last job, which is like get revenge on the guy who used to run their group.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of like also like you get to see some backstory for like the rival antagonist guy, from the second arc of Bottoms. I don't know how far you got in Bottoms. How far did you get anyway?
About early on to that second arc, but not very far.
Did you meet the guy called Ypsilon?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So you get some Ypsilon backstory where he's like being like raised by Fianna a bit, but like there's like, oh, you know, we want to make him an ultimate weapon with no feelings, and she's like, I don't like this. And so yeah, that was pretty fun and good. Second one, Big Battle, was a thing that I watched that you do not really need to watch. It's extremely nothing. Is somehow
is there a big battle?
yeah. It's like, it feels like a Toei movie, like in the sense of like, oh, there's a Dragon Ball or a Digimon or a Kamen Rider movie.
Okay.
In the sense of like, this sure is a thing that's like a fight with an new antagonist that does no consequence whatsoever. From what I looked up, it continuity-wise takes place within the final episode, because I think the final episode there's like the end of the show and then there's a time skip epilogue, and so it's somewhere between those 2 points this gets inserted in. And I'm like, sure, whatever.
Now that is Toei movie shit.
Yeah, it is. And it's extremely like, I don't know, I guess maybe there's some neat set pieces, but it's also like, this is just nothing.
I feel like I've seen a YouTube clip of a fight scene from this one, actually.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, but it's nothing fancy. Also, plot wise, they make Fianna like a damsel in distress, so it's whatever. And yeah, the last one I watched is like, I think, Roots of Ambition, which is, this one's just like a prequel to the show, but also specifically as well the first OVA, because it has like a bunch of the guys that get introduced in that OVA are returning here, but like in the past. And sort of like the origins of Kiriko becoming like, you know, part of the Red Shoulders, etc. And that one's alright. It's like nothing, I think like it's nothing amazing, but I think it's, you know, it's pretty nifty. Has some good characterization stuff. But also feels a bit like it's one of these things where like all the stuff that exists to just fill in space in like or just like random prequels can sometimes just feel not as engaging.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I necessarily need this. Like I think like I definitely feel like of the best of these was the first one. Also there's a degree to which I'm like, well, it's been so long since I watched Bottom, so I'm a bit rusty on all these guys. Also,
I should
found out Vanilla voiced by Chiba.
Yes.
Say no.
Honestly, good casting.
Yeah.
I should finish VOTOMS and everything before the Oshi thing comes out.
Yeah,
I should use that as my motivator.
I think after this, the OVAs are more in sequel territory, so you know that's like a bit more exciting to me.
Did you watch Mellow Link ever?
No, that's actually the next thing release order wise, and I'm like, well, good. Okay. That's like the last of 2 GGP backup shows I have not seen. The other being Second Cake. And yeah, I'll leave it at that because you haven't finished Bottoms, obviously. And no. So the last
honestly, a crime, but I don't know why it just doesn't grab me like other Sunrise shows do.
It insists on itself.
No, I think for me it's just a little. I think it's a little dry. I do think the show can be a
bit dry at times.
Yeah, it's But also, when it's cool, it's really fucking cool.
Yeah, I also think like there's more sauce maybe in the latter half.
Yeah.
And also like, you know, again, like most people we know are like, yeah, the thing I like about Bottoms is like the sequel OVAs. So. Oh yeah, the last thing I have is I finished the second season of Nodame Cantabile, the Paris arc, Paris chapter, whatever it's called. This one is, I think, like the third quarter of the manga. because the first season was 2 cores and covered like the first half or so of the manga, and then there's one more season after this that is a single core. That's the finale. And yeah, this one's basically like, oh yeah, they further the music education. But that's Nodame and Chiaki, the two leads. They go to Paris together and advance their musical careers, and also actually become a couple for real. So there's some emotional climaxes there, some good relationship stuff. Also, moving to Paris means a whole new cast of characters from the ones they had in Japan. Some returning guys, but like mostly like new guys who are fun dynamics. And yeah. Only weird thing about this one is that it's like the pacing feels more rushed than the first season in a weird way. I don't know why. Like I heard like there's to some degree this part of the manga is also kind of just fast paced, but like it does seem there's a lot of like compression / just a bit more fast paced in adaptation wise, even relative to the manga, from what I've heard. Hoping that it wasn't bad still, like still good content. Good to watch, but it's like an interesting thing that I noticed that just kind of moves at a faster clip. But yeah, one more season. That's like I think 10 episodes or something. So that'll be over soon. But yeah, it's a fun romantic comedy that also is about classical music.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm done. That's me.
I got a few things because I was I missed last time around. Actually, last time around I literally had one thing anyways, which was it hit streaming. So me and my friends watched the second of 2 horror movies that have been making waves this summer. I watched Obsession.
Yeah, I know some people who watched that recently because of the stream availability.
Yeah, that was me and my friend group. I was just like, hey, I'll buy this if people want to watch. Yeah, I think this is a solid horror movie. I have some caveats.
Yeah.
So the thing about Obsession is that I think that this movie. Well, okay, I think I'm putting the cart before the horse if I describe it the way I was about to describe it. So Obsession is a movie about a guy who uses a toy he buys from like one of those like, shops that sells like magic energy crystals and stuff. Like it's like an occult type store, but like the like really like boutique-y, like, thing you'd find at like the end of a strip mall sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he uses a wish granting toy called a One Wish Willow that he buys from the store because he's too afraid to ask out one of his friends and coworkers who he's had a crush on for like years now, and he just can't bring himself to actually put out the word. So he wishes that she'd love him more than anything else in the whole world, and then she becomes obsessed, and things get scary as she starts to like lash out and like get really possessive of him, and his life becomes a nightmare, and he got, too much more than he wished for, but also, like, it is absolutely a movie about how that wish, like, is absolutely a violation of consent and is a exploration of him as a character of how, one, he didn't ever really know her as well as he thought he did in his head, and two, like, he doesn't view her as a complete independent human being with her own, like, feelings and desires in life. And, like, the thing about this movie that I think is it's trying to do a balancing act, I think, in that it wants to be the type of horror movie that is a fun summer blockbuster type of watch of like you sit down and watch this with some friends and like get creeped out together, but is also a movie that is trying to be about some very heavy subject matter in terms of male entitlement and, violation of consent and boundaries. And I don't quite know that they have the ability to walk that line at times. Because, so I watched this with a group of people. I had one friend who really did not care for this movie. And one thing that she said that she did not like is that the movie feels as though it is so it is so dedicated to making fun of this guy for being a shitbag and being a creep and making sure you know that he's a miserable person and like he's reaping what he's sowing, that it doesn't maybe give all the time it needs to actually expressing the horror that Nikki, the female lead, is feeling. Which, because her and I talked about this a little bit, because like the thing that I was thinking the whole time is like, perspective is definitely a big thing in this movie. Like the movie is told from his perspective.
Yeah.
To the point where we basically never leave his, like the camera's almost always like lingering on him and what he's doing, so that when we start to learn more about Nikki as a person, it's other people filling him in on things that she told them. And that part of it I do think is effective in the sense that it is a rude awakening for this guy to realize like, oh wait, no, like she never cared about me this way. She has other stuff going on in her life, and him kind of realizing that he never at all extended the full like autonomy and humanity that he should have for this person he allegedly thought he cared about.
Yeah.
But then also too, it does feel like maybe it is, I don't want to say trivializing, but it's definitely the moments of the terror that she is experiencing are kind of few and far between. And part of that is a character thing where there are a few instances early on where it's very obvious the real Nikki is pulling through and she is not at all happy to be in the situation she is in. And Bear immediately, I can't say too much without spoiling, but Bear immediately shuts things down and tries to play it off as if he didn't just hear what he didn't want to hear. But again, that is a question then of, well,
yeah,
you are kind of shutting down the female perspective to further explore this shitty guy.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, kind of where I'm like, I don't really know that this movie is exactly hitting the right balance it needs to. The other thing, though, that I am kind of like, I do want to extend it a little bit of grace to, but also at the same time goes to what I'm talking about with, I don't quite know if maybe the director had the director and writer both maybe didn't exactly have the chops to walk this line. I do think if you start to add in more of that degree of horror of what this feels like from her perspective, I almost wonder if you get into the David Lynch territory where you have now made a movie that some people are going to be alienated from watching. I mean, I know I love Fire Walk with Me. I personally relate with Fire Walk with Me a lot. I think that is maybe one of the best depictions on film of what it feels like to live in a house you do not feel safe in. At the same time, I have a lot of friends that do not like Fire Walk with Me because they just can't watch it, because it gets in and it deals with things that they personally just like, I don't want to watch a movie that
also
has the stuff
does
in
not end good, because the prequel to Twin Peaks that stars the character who, you know, the show's the show's about her murder. So
and I was starting to wonder, like, just like through conversation I was having with my friends about like where this movie's attention lies. Like, I almost feel like they maybe were afraid to go far that direction because they didn't want to make a movie that was upsetting.
Yeah.
But this goes back to my thing of, I don't know if I would have made your light watch with friends summer romp
about
necessarily about the subject. Yeah, exactly. And it's tricky too because like I'm forgetting. Hold on, I need to look up the actress's name because she does a killer job. Indy Navarrete, amazing performance, like genuinely incredible job playing Nikki. Throughout this movie.
Meanwhile, Bear's just been announced for the new Fire Emblem game.
Yes. So my favorite thing is that apparently that was the thing he did right before he got did Obsession.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then like he blew up, so now it's just like, oh, that guy from Obsession's gonna be Fire Emblem. So yeah, I like overall, I think it is a solid movie. I do think that maybe thematically it bites off more than it can chew, and is like, on one hand, I don't want to fault a horror movie for being like, this is about a shitty guy that is doing shitty and horrible things. On the other hand, I do think that there are reasonable questions to be raised about, like, does this movie put the empathetic point all the way into the people experiencing the horror as it should? The one thing that kind of tilts me over into, I think this movie has some faults, is that there is there's a second woman in the movie that is this guy's friend that I don't want to say just exists for his character development, because she has her own life stuff going on that I actually think is pretty compelling. But the way that she is leveraged in terms of this movie being a horror movie and like scary stuff happening, I do feel like it ends up feeling like she mostly just exists to rub in this guy's predicament further into his face, and maybe doesn't quite live up to her existing as a element of this.
Yeah.
So yeah. I thought it was solid. I don't think it's perfect. That being said, I do appreciate that it exists in the sense that between this and Backrooms, I are the two horror movies being talked about right now that everyone's like, oh fuck, like we might be out of like the hell Disney slop era of filmmaking. I do appreciate both these movies for taking the swings and at the very least putting something out in the world that was interesting to talk about and like, had something more to say than the big safe blockbusters. And I can appreciate them both existing from this front. I do think maybe Backrooms was a little bit more, so I don't think Backrooms wanted to try or swing as hard as this movie did, so I feel kind of bad saying that I feel like it maybe pulled it off a little bit better. But I do think that this movie don't quite got the reach in terms of what it's trying to aim for. So
movie watchers go and seeing these movies and being like, for the first time in a long time, I feel like where I need to be. I've been seeing backroom clips around on the social media.
Yeah. I guess this is the other thing I'll say about Obsession. So I kind of had the same thing with Obsession I had with The Green Knight, where I feel like because of the conversations around this movie, I was not prepared for how funny this movie could be when it wants to be.
Yeah.
Because they treat the gimmick device of like the wish granting toy as just like a shitty shelf product. So like he calls a helpline and gets a bored customer service agent. And then, like, there's a part late in the movie. The best scene in the movie, honest to God, is this guy, after shit has gone really bad, goes back to the shop, and the guy working behind the register is like, I don't know what to tell you, man. You bought it, you didn't read the back of the box all that well. It's kind of your issue. Like,
that's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, like, it's really funny. And then, like, everything just involving, like, this being a thing that people can buy in the world, they play completely straight in just the most ridiculous way. And it's just like, why do you sell these things? And he's like, just like, they're a collector's item. Like there's a collector's market for these things, and you only get one wish. I already used my wish, man. I don't know what to tell you. You gotta find someone else to use a wish if you want to do this. And it's really funny. It literally is just like the most like, hey, I don't know what to tell you, man. We just stock the things. I'm not the one making them. It's so funny.
But I heard about this movie on Ornate Stairwells this past week. And their complaints seemed about similar to yours, where it just sounded like by like foregrounding the guy's perspective over the girls, like the horror of having your consent taken away from you is not like front of mind as much as, oh, there's a yandere girlfriend. Whoa, that's crazy. Got more than you asked for.
I listened to the same pod, and I do still think I like the film. but I would say that a lot of I would be curious.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing this movie done in a more omniscient perspective to see what you would get. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, like I think sometimes it just comes down to like sometimes you can like have the same critiques of something, but like how much of a deal breaker it is for you, it just depends differently. Like I think like some overlap of hosts, but like, you know, going back to GGP when they did Film Alchemist a while back, I think like Red and I's complaints are similar to the ones brought up in that pod, but for us, it's more of for Red and I, it's more of a deal breaker than it was for them.
Yeah.
So you know, it's just like one of those things. But yeah. What else you got?
I got another movie.
Okay.
So earlier this week, End of Evangelion was in theaters.
Yeah.
And I hit up one of my childhood best friends who I first watched the End of Evangelion with, huddled around my desk computer to watch a shitty 240p Google Video. Remember when Google Video existed, folks? Rip of End of Evangelion. And we were fucking blown away as, like, you know, dumb. I think we're like 15 or something. You know, I hit him up and was like, hey, would you want to go out and, like, you know, see this? And he said, oh, hell yeah. So he drove over and we watched the movie and we had a wonderful time. It was really, nice. I like more so than just watching the movie as like an experience with like a guy I really care about and have like a deep, long lasting friendship with since we were kids. It was just a nice life moment, I would say.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. But like we grabbed like a bite to eat and talked a little bit after and just talked about the movie and kind of like Ava as like we feel about it these days.
Oh, you're so fresh now after my work.
Yeah, I was thinking a little bit. I was like, you know, this feels like a weird capstone of like I felt going into End of Ava like not weird about not having watched the series again beforehand because we had just talked about it, you know? So it was funny. But no, so we sat down and had a My Dinner with Andre discussion. No, I'm joking. But we just talked about, like, you know, how we felt about it these days. And like I'd say we're both a little bit cooler on Evangelion, but at the same time, I still really love that movie. He also still really loves that movie. The takeaway I had this time that I guess I'd never really considered, or maybe I'd become so acclimated to having seen it, but seeing it on the big screen maybe reawakened this, is like every 5 seconds of that movie is one of the most like emotionally evocative or like thought-provoking, just like it's a really well done like movie from like a cinematography perspective. Right. Just really evocative shots. Like the one I was thinking about where it's like, I don't really think I've ever really registered how like jolting this is when the Lance of Longinus comes down and almost stabs Ava Unit 1 in the throat, but like stops within like a split second. And just even like little things like that, or Ava Unit 1 with like the big glowy wings and like the storm and then Shinji screams, like every 10 seconds, there's just like something else for your eyes to ponder and look at, and it looks really goddamn good. And also too, for everything we've said about Evangelion and like its themes on mental health and people's place in the world, and maybe sometimes being more insular than we would like as fans of other mecha properties that maybe are a little more, I guess, all encompassing of the human experience.
Like Code Geass.
So true. I do still think Yui's stuff at the end with as long as the sun, the moon, the stars exist, you two have the chance to be happy. I do genuinely think that, like, I find that personally very moving. I think it ends on a good note. I really do love that movie. Still, honest to God. It's no Be Invoked, but what can be.
Yeah.
I would also say
person who is not biased to
listen, it's not at end of Evangelion, I'm this guy. This being said, I do also think, I mean, there are obvious similarities and debts being paid there. I do think that, End of Evangelion is a much different film. I think it's very concerned with different things, and it's a, you know, saying as the Be Invoked enjoyer, while there's much overlap in execution, I think that they are concerned with different elements of the human experience, and I think that it is a benefit that both exist.
Oh, so you're being a centrist. I see how it is.
Yes, exactly.
Thanks, Obama.
I think I think End of Evangelion would be improved if it cut to one of the Seele attack team guys and he just had 1,000-yard stare going, "We've come too far to go back now." Be Invoked's an amazing movie.
Yeah, I was 50-50 on whether I'd watch this, just because it was like, yeah, I was like in the, you know, around where my apartment was, so I had like more free hand to go see a movie in theaters than if I was at my parents' place. Mm-hmm. And I was just kind of wishy-washy on whether I'd see it. And then by the time I was like, okay, I'll go see it this afternoon and go buy my ticket in like an hour or a couple hours in advance of the movie, it was all sold out, and I was like, well,
damn.
Yeah. Which is why I watched the VOTOMS stuff instead, because I was like, okay, I have my VOTOMS Blu-ray. I'll just watch my PS4. But that's fine. We've you know, peeked behind the curtain. We've arranged a way for me to watch and even the schedule anyway. So, you know, we will make sure to close the gap on that arc of the podcast anyway. So
we gotta watch Death and Rebirth. That thing, yeah. They've also put that out in theaters.
I also debated watching that, but I was also like, nah, you know what? Oh, fine.
That one, I was like, I'm good, and I am genuinely curious how many people went out to go see that, because like I don't quite think that movie works.
It's also like Death True Squared now, where they cut out a lot of the stuff that was in the original cut.
Yeah. But yeah, End of Evangelion.
It tumbled down.
The movies. Tumbling down. I love that song. Tumbling down, tumbling down. That song has like 15 million views on YouTube, and I'm like, deserved. Yeah. That part where they all start clapping. I will. So actually, I will say I was a little surprised. We only had my screening. It was me, my friend, and then like 6 other people. And I was just like, oh, you know, I'm a little surprised because like I'm usually surprised with like local theater stuff for like anime or just like any, you know, movie that's like a special screening, because it's either nobody shows up, the theater is half full, and I'm surprised that many people showed up, or it's like a Dragon Ball movie and every fucking seat is packed. It's been my experience.
And maybe it's because I like usually would buy tickets a bit earlier, but like in this case, it really was, well, I didn't expect this to be like, even when I watched like Advent Children at the same theater, it like wasn't as packed, you know. So, you know, I was like, oh damn, this is the first time this happened.
But I will say a good theater experience that I will not forget anytime soon is the part towards the end of the movie where it shows the actual like audience footage of like the real theater.
Yeah.
Someone in like the row that was kind of in front of everybody just started like kind of like cracking up a little bit, and then everyone else in the theater also was just like it was just like a funny moment where everyone was just kind of like it felt like we were all in on the same joke. It was just like we're in a theater looking at another theater staring back at us through the screen. It was fun. So yeah, End of Evangelion, a film. The film. I have a few games I could talk about, but I think in the interest of time, I'm going to have more to talk about if I hold off a week, so I will. But you know what's happening this weekend?
What?
The Marvel Tokon beta.
Okay.
I didn't get into either of the closed betas that they did. I think there was 2. So I was like, fuck it, let me download the open beta. I'm having a pretty good time. It is like kind of what I expected it to feel like. Like if you took Marvel vs. Capcom and DBFZ and added the Guilty Gear Strive wall, you get Marvel Tokon. I'm enjoying it more than I expected to. I have purchased the game.
Okay.
Like I have decided, like, you know, this is good enough. I want to be on the ground floor for this. It is maybe like as a Marvel vs. Capcom 3 enjoyer, I have accepted I am probably just never going to get the style of Tay game I want ever again in my life. The children do not yearn for incoming mix-ups. Which, to be fair, I understand. Most of the time, they're real bullshit.
Yeah.
But I like them. What can I say? It is. I would describe it as a very, very homogenized game in the way that I feel like you get people complaining about with games like Street Fighter 6, where it's like, oh, this game feels like drive mechanics with some character quirks attached every time you play it. I think there's a very reasonable concern you could have looking at any given character in this game and go, this character is like their tag mechanics, and then their unique, like, every character has like a unique button that gives them a unique skill, kind of like Grand Blue. Like Magneto throws a car, or Green Goblin can go on his flyer. He can also, actually, there's a fun thing. Green Goblin can shoot out his flyer, and then it comes back and can hit him and deal damage to him, like in the Raimi movie.
Ooh,
yeah, or I think Frieza has like a Destructo Disc thing that does the same thing in DBFZ if you don't dodge it when it comes back, which is fun too. I like when games do gags like that. But the characters definitely feel like a little too close for me a little bit. Maybe it's just because I haven't spent enough time with any given character. And to be fair, when you really use those unique abilities, you can get some fun stuff. Like my favorite character to play as, I'd say right now, is probably a toss up between Magneto, who just has really good zoning with like how much gravity shit he can throw out. But then also Magic is really fun, and she can create a portal and then shoot a projectile through the portal, and it will appear behind the enemy, and it catches people off guard all the time. And if you're just the right range away, you can hit them with the projectile and then get a combo after, and it feels great. I love it. It makes people so mad. But yeah, I like it. I don't like the wall. I never liked it in Strive either. I kind of wish it didn't exist.
Is this the Strive Marvel vs. Capcom games?
Kind of. It I would say it feels more DBFZ than Strive to me, but it has the weight of like, I would say it has like the weight and feel of like halfway between a DBFZ and a Strive. And also is explosive in the way that I remember Strive being. I think they eventually toned that down a little bit. I have not played Strive in years now, but health bars can blow up in this game if someone really has the momentum going. Is what I'll say. Yeah. But yeah, it's fun. It's not Marvel vs. Capcom. I accepted basically day one that it wouldn't be, and I should just treat this as its own thing. It does still give me that wacky, like, tag fighter, too much shit is on the screen and it's hard to keep track of, but I kind of like it for that type thing. The fact that you can just put out all 3 of your assists at the same time if you want to is ridiculous, and I do love it for that. And also just like getting a happy birthday, which is, what we call it when you hit someone's assist, for those of you not in the know. Still feels good in this game. Still a big fan of all that. Maybe a little bit less fun because it's all like you have one shared team life bar rather than individual life bars for each character. But it's good fun. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with this game. speaking of fighting games, yesterday, a local started that's like less than half an hour away from my house.
Nice.
Yeah. So I drove over and played some Tekken. It was a 16-person bracket. I went 2-2, got 7th place. Had some fun conversations, played some casual matches with people, met some new faces. And I had a good time. I had a really good time. This is my first time. You have a local you go to sometimes, right?
Yeah,
I know
when
you
I'm
talk about
in
it.
my apartment and not my parents' place, but yeah.
Yeah. I've never been to like this is one room at the back of a restaurant, like that's like a rentable event space, sort of deal. And I've never been in like a tournament setting that's so cozy feeling of like, this really feels grassroots from the ground up, like, you know, we need everyone to pay their $15 so we can afford to keep doing this every month sort of gig. But it was great. I loved it. Like that was the community feel I really was looking for these games, right? And I had a great time. The last Tekken game I was in went down to the last round, and you know, I could have had it if I had just made like 2 more correct decisions, but I fucked up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing to support that local every month if I can keep making it out. Hopefully, work doesn't cause issues with that, because it might. But yeah, go to your locals if you can. I know not everyone has them. For the longest time, I didn't, because my options were I either drive like an hour and a half up north or like an hour south, and that's a lot of time. So I just didn't go. But then at some point they were like, "Oh, we have enough interest in like an in between." So I'm taking advantage, and I'm happy that a ton of people showed up. I hope a ton of people keep showing up because I want to play more Tekken.
Yeah. Unrelated, but I just saw this funny tweet. There's layers of incestuous cross posting, but you know.
Oh, I gotta see this. I'd like to Gendo saying I'd like to have sex one more time with my wife who passed away from cancer 9 years ago. My body yearns for her is the ultimate downside to finding the one, and she may die young and leave you on. Fiyutsky going, I also choose this guy's dead wife.
Apparently this is from ifunny.co.
ifunny, that yes. ifunny. The gift that keeps on giving. You'll never stop seeing the iFunny logo. As long as the sun, the moon, and the stars still exist,
Takeshi,
there is always a chance to have your meme stolen by iFunny.
Takeshi making a kaiju to hack E-Bomb's world.
Con Digifer, you're the man now, dog. Then I got one last thing that actually ties into my fighting game local. On my way back, I pulled the trigger and took a little detour to pick up something from Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
This is the sign I'm getting old. I yearned for a CRT. So I picked up a Sharp 13-inch TV for my desk that I otherwise have not been using.
That desk is in a rough shape.
It is. This desk is old. This desk is probably about as old as I am. It was in my bedroom when I lived at my folks' place, and then I just kind of took it when I moved to this apartment, and it's just been in the corner. And
losing its religion.
Yeah. So the funny thing is that this originally was going to be my, like, laptop desk / Gunpla building desk, and I've just ended up kind of using other places in my apartment for these tasks if I ever want to. So this desk has really what this desk became is I don't have any other good place to put this thing, so it goes in the corner desk in my bedroom desk, which over the years has meant many books. And I've kind of eventually cleared that out, and I decided that this is the perfect place for a little CRT and PlayStation 2 action. I think I'm going to start saving up to buy a Mister in some form.
I'd like because to do that at some point too.
Yeah, they're so expensive. It's hard.
And also, like, every time I've been like, oh, I should wait a bit because I can't afford it. It's like, oh, guess what? They've gotten more expensive.
Yeah, it's so. I think I might save up. There is a person who sells a thing called a Super Station, which is Retro Remake is the name of the site. But I believe the person making them is Taki Udon, I believe is their name, online handle. But they made the Mr. Pie, which is notable for being like the affordable one of these.
Ooh.
And even that is like
still a bit hefty.
Triple digits, yeah.
So well, I expect all these to be some degree of triple. Oh, wait, no, hold on.
Yes,
triple digits, like just like a matter of like how close to the quadruple are we talking here?
Yeah, well, this one's like 125 for the board. I don't know what's all included because, like, I believe the case with this thing is like you start with like a base kit that does the thing, but then you add on more to it.
Yeah.
Which I've had a few people. Actually, Emmeline was in my reply saying, "Oh, you might want to look into the Mr. Pie," because I was expressing some interest. And the thing is that they also make a thing called the Super Station, which is a little bit more, but has more stuff to it. And what I'd be interested in is you can get like a $40 dock that connects to the bottom and has an actual like disc reader for all your like PS1, PS2 games, or well, PS1 games specifically. And you know, I have a lot of PS1 discs. So I think it would be nice to have a box that I could still use my actual discs for on top of reading like ISO files. But the problem is that they're never in fucking stock. So I have to wait for like a batch 5 pre-order to go up. And who knows when that'll happen. So but yeah, even though this thing is only doing composite, you know, I looked around for a component. The problem is that people that are selling CRTs now know what they have, and know that people want them, unfortunately, which sucks. I paid more than $100 for the shitty 13-inch TV, which feels like a ripoff, but also is about what they're going for in my area at this point, which sucks, but is the reality of this niche outdated technology they're not making more new things of. So it's composite only, but you know, when I was hemming and hawing about that, I went, hey, you know who didn't care about the fact that he had a composite TV growing up? Me, when I was a child, playing all these games on my N64 and PlayStation 2. So I just said, fuck it, I'll get it. And I've been having a great time. The image is a little wobbly and kind of weird in the way I wanted it to be. And, you know, it has that light little CRT flicker.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a high-pitched whir when there's no audio playing. That's a little discomforting. Yeah, I've been having a great time with it. And what I really want to do, deep down, in addition to revisiting, like, you know, PS1, PS2 stuff, not in the form of, you know, emulation, I do think I want that Mister so I can, like, explore the Saturn library in a way that feels more appropriate.
Saturn is cool.
I'm not really a Sega guy. I like, you know, I like me a Sonic 2 and 3 and Knuckles and all that jazz, and you know, the Dreamcast had some cool stuff, but I think deep down, man, the Saturn's really cool.
Yeah,
it's just got
you gotta hop on Panzer Dragoon.
I do, I really do. something about like it being like almost to the level of PS1, but still having like it feels like a weird in between almost of like the love of like, you know, that like 32-bit like pixel art stuff and really wanted to do the 3D, but having to make like a lot of like fun and like quirky workarounds to, you know,
because like
make it look how they want.
It uses quads instead of tries for polygons, and also I think the polygons are technically sprites. It's a bizarre machine.
Yeah, but it has such a unique look because of it that I really appreciate. I think the standard's cool.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Also, that controller's neat. It's a neat controller.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been my week. Tune in next week for me talking about Grand Blue Fantasy Relink.
That's a game that I sure wish was on sale.
Yeah, I had a real problem with this game where I had the most honest question for my friends playing this possible, which was, I kind of want to wait for a sale, but at the same time, I feel like if I wait for a sale, none of you will be playing this anymore. And they went, you're probably right.
Yeah.
So I just went for it. I just went for it full price. I'm having a good time though. I'll talk more when I am deeper into it next week.
Deeper in. All right.
Do we have emails?
Let me check the email. We have one email.
Dear Strongman, I can't make this joke. Like, I make this joke every 4 weeks. I need to stop.
Mothra fanboy representing, pulling up and doing 6 episodes of Gridman, 25 to 30. So now he's all caught up.
Congratulations.
Hello, HQ. I watched 6 episodes of Gridman, and some are really good, and some are bad, and some are great, but have certain scenes in them that kind of ruins the episodes. Episode 25 and 26. This is a great 2-parter. I think it's about time that Gridman loses a fight, since up to this point it seemed that Gridman was invincible. I think I saw some trivia on the Ultra Wiki where like, wow, this is exactly the same point in the show that the original Ultraman lost. And I'm like, well, thank you, Ultra Wiki. Sure, there's an argument to be made that these 2 episodes use clips from previous episodes too much, but I feel that use of those clips are warranted. I mean, you know, it's not a recap episode at least, so. But yeah, it is a bit like, I think there's like also just like the dream sequences, like Gridman has to relive the visions of the past episodes, so the 6 used to reuse images. Episode 27, this is the best episode of Gridman. The Hyper Agent, it's not even close. All the bits and humor worked in this episode. The parts of the toys attacking the kids are all hilarious. Everything about this one is perfect. It's a shame that the funny cop got replaced, whatever. Yeah, this one's a great one.
Yeah, that is, I forgot to mention, that is a bummer. But I can't remember when I was listening to was there like a reason given for why that?
No, I could find.
That's a bummer.
I think I just saw on the wiki, it was just like, yeah, his character just transferred out of town, but there was no explanation given in the show.
No, they the cop in this episode says, "Oh, I took over for so and so."
Yeah.
There's the one line.
Yeah. Episode 28, this one's fine. Takeshi's a bit of a freak in this one. I don't know how I feel about it. Takeshi's also become more and more of a comic relief character, which is cool. The writer seems to be having more fun forming his character. Excuse me. Oh yeah. Mothra fanboy getting to the thing I mentioned. Also, there's a atrocious bit of subtitle where this episode when the taxi driver disappears, the people riding the tractor say, "Oh, he's spirited away," and then Naoto and Ippei ride by on the bikes. So what Naoto says translates, Spirited Away, the movie? The film Spirited Away does not release for another 8 years after Gridman aired. Yeah, like, that is clearly not what he's saying at all. But, you know, thank you, Toko HD.
What if Miyazaki named the movie Spirited Away because he was such a big Gridman fan? He went, "Oh, what if I made a movie called Spirited Away?"
Miyazaki thinks he's too good for this.
Yeah, true.
Derogatory.
It's like, oh, these kids are into fucking computers. They should be into World War II planes.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make 5 movies about how I need to pass the torch.
Just like every James Bond movie.
Yeah.
Episode 29. A pretty fun episode with decent emotional moments that add to the episode. Can't believe they just blew up the dog and just moved on.
They do that.
Episode 30, wow, this is a great episode. I wish it wasn't blatantly homophobic, like I'm gay and I don't insult minors. Is actually pretty disappointed that Gridman was stooped this low. Unfortunately, it's the 90s, so I understand it happening, but it's unfortunate. That aside, this was a really fun episode with a lot of moments. Naoto's dad as an imaginary member of the Beatles got me laughing.
His get-up, I don't think we commented on enough. It's very good.
Yeah.
His outfit that he puts together, where he's like, I'm gonna form the Japanese Beatles, is incredible.
Question, what do you think all think is the most forgettable Ultraman show as a whole that we've seen so far, I guess, obviously?
Oh, so the thing is, I dislike Ace too much to say.
Yeah, that's
Ace.
the thing. Like, it sticks in the mind too much as a thing that we hate, even though, by and large, a lot of it is forgettable.
I hate to say it, but it might be Taro for me. Even though I don't dislike Taro, but like I feel like it's the one that left maybe the least amount of impression in terms of
it's consistent,
response,
but not like necessarily interesting. So
yeah, that's what I'd probably land on. Because like Leo, I would say is of the three of us, I probably dislike Leo the most.
Yeah.
But also like there is some cool shit in Leo.
Also, Leo is just insane in the way that it's structured and reinvents itself. That it's hard to like. It's definitely not a forgettable show.
There are phases to Leo as a production that I would struggle to make equivalences for with Taro.
Yeah, like Taro. Taro's thing is like it's consistent.
Yeah,
it's like the one show of that era that did not have a production on fire.
Yeah. Did Taro give us the fucking fairy tale Power Hour weeks, or was that a different one?
Folk Slop was Leo.
Folk Slop.
But
yes, that's
but
right,
Folk Slop
right.
was also like Leo intentionally trying to copy Taro for a bit.
That's right. Yes,
and being
right.
bad at it.
Yes. What a weird era.
Wasn't 13% of the show or something?
It was a lot.
It was more than 10%.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fucked up. I guess if we count Andromelos as a show, then it's probably that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess yeah, it is a bit complicated. See you all next time. It's hard to believe there's only 9 episodes and 3 weeks left of the show to go, but I'm looking forward to the finale.
Yeah, Gridman's really, this whole year for me has kind of felt like it's been flying too fast by, but like Gridman as part of that year.
Yeah,
I feel like
it does help.
I'm just kind of surprised we're so close.
We've had longer shows, but like not 50 episode shows, and that helps.
Yeah.
Because like basically,
it might help.
Because like basically from like the middle of 2023 up until like December of last year is basically nothing but a block of 50 episode show after 50 episode show.
Yeah. I also just think Gridman goes down easy. It's just a very watchable show in the way that sometimes the other stuff we've watched it isn't.
Yeah, I feel that.
So I think that's a pod.
I think it might be.
Thank you for the email, Mothra fanboy, and yeah, next time we'll be back around for episodes 31 through 33, right?
Yep.
Yes. The monster's mother is a college girl. This is the episode title 31, I guess.
Damn. What the fuck's happening?
I don't know. Well, I know what the fuck's happening. It's that the monster's mother is a college girl.
So true.
But yeah. You can find me at Be Invoked on Blue Sky and other places. You can find Red, who is absent playing Blades in the Dark, or running Blades in the Dark, at Red November on Blue Sky. Al, where can people find you?
You can send an email to ultracubepod@gmail.com, and we have the fund, ultracube fund. Also, the pod has accounts, ultra_q on Twitter, and ultraq.biscuit.social for Blue Sky. I think that's about it.
I think that's it. We can call it.
Yeah.
Have a good one, everyone. See you next week.
Later.